What if I told you the biggest royal scandal wasn't caused by Meghan Markle, but by Prince Harry himself? For years, we thought we knew the story. But one hidden email, sent just months before the wedding, proves we were all wrong. It reveals a secret so big, it forced a prince to leave his family. This isn't just a rumor. It is in black and white. Today, we open the files and show you the one sentence that started the end of the monarchy. For a long time, the world thought Prince Harry would always protect Meghan Markle. He gave up his house, his royal titles, and even his family just to be with her. But now, things are different. Inside the royal family, there is a big problem growing. This problem isn't Meghan's fault, it is Harry's fault. Harry made a choice recently that surprised everyone close to the palace. This choice hurt Meghan and showed that their marriage is in trouble. Harry says this all started years ago with one single email. That email had one sentence that wasn't true. Once you understand what that sentence really meant, the whole fairy tale changes. This isn't just a marriage with problems. It is a marriage built on shaky ground, and it is starting to break. Let's go back to February 2018 to see where it all began. The world didn't know it yet, but something strange was happening inside the palace. Prince Harry sent an official email. Later, this email was used as evidence in court. Most people looked at the email and thought it was normal, but if you look closely, one sentence changed everything. Harry wrote, "I can't tell you how bad it will look if this isn't fixed before the baby's arrival and wedding." At first, this sounds responsible, but the people who read it felt scared. Why? Because in February 2018, there was no baby. There was no announcement, no baby bump, and no rumors. So why was Harry writing about a baby coming months before the wedding? There were only two answers. One, Harry was just hoping for a future baby. Or two, Harry believed a baby was already on the way right then. The way he wrote the email didn't sound hopeful. It sounded fast, scared, and panicked. He sounded like a man trying to fix a crisis before the world found out. That one line in the email was a tiny slip that showed a big truth. If Meghan told Harry she was pregnant, everything that happened next makes sense. When the email arrived at the palace, the staff was confused. Meghan had told Harry she was expecting a baby. Harry, who was emotional and wanted to protect her, believed her completely. He was deeply in love, but inside the royal staff, things did not add up. There were no notes from doctors, there were no appointments. There was only Harry's voice saying, "It must be settled before the baby arrives." This sentence scared everyone. Late-night phone calls and meetings happened because of it. It felt like the whole palace was racing against a clock they didn't agree to. Harry became more desperate. He didn't act like a prince. He acted like a man running out of time. He thought everything would fall apart if people learned the truth too early. Every delay made Harry angry. Behind the scenes, people asked a quiet question. If Meghan is pregnant, why can't anyone else prove it? But Harry didn't stop to ask questions. He trusted the woman he loved. That trust changed his whole life. Harry and Meghan got engaged very fast. This shocked the people who had worked for the royals for a long time. They had only known each other for a year. Harry said the wedding had to happen right away, not next year. Usually, royal weddings take a long time to plan. They move slowly like giant blocks of ice. There are checks and family approvals, but Harry pushed everything into a 6-month race. The staff was confused. Even the Queen asked for an explanation. Harry's answer was always the same. It needs to be done before the baby arrives. This phrase drove the wedding planning. Meghan looked calm and shiny. Harry looked stressed and emotional. In the photos, they smiled, but Harry was actually frantic. He felt he had no choice but to get married quickly. The wedding wasn't built on tradition. It was built on urgency and fear. It was built on a secret that only Harry believed. This rush caused all the problems that came later. If the baby didn't exist, then the love story Harry was protecting might not have been real either. By March 2018, something strange happened. The whispers stopped. The panic went away. Staff who were running around just weeks before were now confused. They wondered why nobody was talking about the baby emergency anymore. It seemed like the crisis just disappeared overnight. People in the palace heard that Meghan told Harry she lost the baby. This would be very sad, but others noticed the dates didn't match. If she was pregnant in late 2017, she should have shown signs by the wedding in May 2018, but there were no signs. Also, Harry didn't act like he was grieving. He acted like he was relieved the storm was over. The pressure was gone, but the reason for it remained a secret. The staff and the Queen started to ask a big question. Was there ever a baby at all? When their son Archie was born in May 2019, the math didn't make sense. Archie was born almost 2 years after the email. There was no way the 2017 pregnancy and Archie were connected. The palace realized something important. The rush that controlled Harry was not real. It was just a belief. Belief and fear are very strong ways to control someone. If the pregnancy story created questions, Meghan's behavior created even more. People noticed she had a strategy. She used 3 different masks or ways of acting to get what she wanted. Mask 1 was the victim. When she wanted sympathy, she made her voice soft and looked sad. She acted like she was being treated badly. This made Harry want to protect her immediately. He always wanted to save people because of losing his mother. Mask 2 was the partner. When she wanted loyalty, she acted warm. She made Harry feel like they were a team against the world. Mask 3 was the star. When she wanted power, she turned on her charm. She knew how to own the room and the cameras. This was a plan, not just confidence. She made a space for herself in the royal world. Harry changed how he acted depending on which mask she wore. When she cried, he fought for her. When she shone, he stayed in the background. She found the key to control his choices. Every time the staff had questions, Meghan used her emotions. Love became her weapon. Harry became a soldier fighting a war he didn't understand. The trap wasn't made of metal, it was made of emotion. It wrapped around him until he couldn't tell the difference between love and pressure. By May 2018, the wedding couldn't be stopped. Even if the pregnancy story was gone, the wedding was happening. The Queen said yes. The church was booked. The cameras were ready. But inside the palace, people remembered Harry's panic. They remembered the rush. They also remembered that the baby was no longer mentioned. When Meghan walked down the aisle, she looked perfect. But many royal insiders felt a chill, not joy. They knew Harry wasn't walking into a fairy tale. He was walking into a marriage built on a hurry. The world saw a beautiful wedding. But inside, people saw a different picture. They saw a prince who had been pushed. They saw a timeline that made no sense. They saw a crisis that vanished as soon as the wedding was safe. To them, the wedding was a strategy. The saddest part was that Harry thought he had won. He thought he protected his family. He didn't know that the rush stopped because he finally said, "I do." The trap closed around him. The cost of that rushed moment would follow him for years. When Harry and Meghan left the palace, the world thought they were choosing freedom. They moved to a big mansion in California. It looked like a dream. Harry told friends he was free. But freedom without a purpose can be a trap too. In California, the palace rules were gone, but so were the routines and duties Harry knew his whole life. He didn't realize how much those rules held him up. At first, life seemed exciting with new deals, but slowly, Harry seemed to lose his light. People said he became quiet and angry. He seemed like a man who ran away but had nowhere to go. Meghan did well in their new world. She loved the cameras and interviews. Harry struggled. He wasn't a prince or a hero anymore. He felt like an extra person in Meghan's life. Their huge house with tall walls, the silence was loud. Everything goes back to that one sentence in the email. Before the baby's arrival, it wasn't just a warning, it was like a prediction of the future. That line from years ago explains everything. It explains the fear, the rush, and why Harry felt trapped. It explains why he left his family. Now he is a man without a crown and without peace. Harry wasn't just tricked by lies. He was tricked by hope. He hoped love would fix his broken heart. He hoped Meghan was the one person who chose him for him. But the real tragedy is realizing you fooled yourself. Now the cameras still flash. Meghan still smiles. Her brand looks perfect. But Harry walks quietly beside her. He's no longer the main character. He's a man thinking about the moment that changed everything. That email was the truth he couldn't see back then. Cracks in a marriage don't start with a big scandal. They start with one sentence. Harry's sentence has been echoing for years. The fairy tale is over. The illusion is breaking. And the world is watching to see what Harry does when he finally stops pretending.